Welcome to the Business Leaders Legacy Podcast, the show where we go behind the scenes of business leaders to uncover their vision, strategies, and challenges they face along the way. My name is Chris Bruner. I'm the CEO of Simple AI Solutions and the host of today's podcast. I'm excited to have Justin Mahwikizi, the president and founder of Mahwikizi Co. Justin is known for his skills as a finance leader and founder. He advises businesses on how to lower risk and build strong systems, always focusing on making companies last and grow over time. Justin, thank you for being here. Can you please share with our listeners a little about you, your journey, and what Mahwikizi Co. does?
Chris, thank you very much. I'm glad to be on your program. Listen, I came into this work somewhat indirectly. My background began in finance and banking, but over time I became less interested in transactions themselves and more interested in how and why some organizations endure while others quietly fail despite appearing successful. I spent years observing how institutions actually behave under pressure. What I noticed was that most problems people call financial are really structural problems. Incentives drift, accountability spreads across too many people. Systems work until complexity increases, and then small weaknesses compound. And so at Mahwikizi and Company, we exist to help organizations understand how their systems behave before stress exposes those weaknesses publicly. We are usually called when leadership senses something is off, even though the reports still look acceptable. Our work is not optimization, it is clarity. We help boards and leadership teams understand risk, governance, and operational discipline in a way that supports long-term durability rather than short-term performance.
Yeah, no, that is awesome. Having that clarity and focusing on like the long-term goal is so important for businesses. And so that's really interesting. That's awesome. And so to dive a little bit more into it, your career, you've always been about building these strong systems, right? Lowering the risk, like you had mentioned, and using money wisely. What makes you so passionate about helping founders and companies do this, especially when things are complicated or changing?
Sure, it's a great question. I think that many leaders are trying to do the right thing, but lack an objective mirror. They receive guidance, advice, audits, and coaching, but rarely an independent perspective that connects finance, operations, governance, and human decision making together. And so, what motivates me in helping these leaders is to see what they already sensed but could not yet articulate. When clarity appears, decisions become calmer and more disciplined. And so I'm less interested in growth for its own sake and more interested in institutions that survive leadership transitions, economic cycles, and most of all, for all leaders, board members, and the like, and trustees, survive scrutiny.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting, right? Being more serious over being this like big and flashy business sounds like that's like the foundation of really what you guys offer, which is super cool. And I'm wondering if you could explain a little bit more about that and what that means and how you help clients to make those smart business choices to keep the operations honest.
Well, we have different approaches depending on our client, what they're facing, their size, and their history. But understanding how systems are set up, make sure that it's not just founder-led or dependent on a founder is very important. And seeing how departments and functions in departments interact will show people like us who understand how systems work where some gaps may be. And usually it's a trickle type of effect, and we want to captivate and identify that trickle right away because over long term it's going to become a bigger problem that invites scrutiny from regulators, auditors, and other public scrutiny type of institutions. And so our job is to say, you've built a great thing, you have some great income, you have some great operations, but where is the next crisis happening 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the line that you haven't even noticed? And most leaders know that they sense something is off. But being able to look at a process map and really identify where the gaps are is our key differentiator, whether it's in the banking industry, manufacturing, industrial, and the likes.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. And yeah. So, some of the common money or business mistakes you see in companies making, shifting a little bit towards like trends within the industry. There are I'm sure there's probably common mistakes or common things that businesses do. I'm wondering if maybe you could share
Yeah.
some of those common mistakes and how your company helps them.
So uh, understanding your question clearly here is that there's a common um, thread amongst leaders, board directors, and trustees what they see in different companies. Uh, Through our experience, there's one consistent mistake across sectors, and it's confusing activity with discipline. And so companies, will build dashboards, they'll hire consultants or implement tools, technology, and the likes. But the underlying decision structure remains unclear. And so understanding the decision structure and making sure it fits within the system and the goals of the leaders is the most important part. Otherwise, some decisions are made instinctively instead of following the rule book, or nobody knows where the decisions happen. And so those compound over time. Another mistake is founder dependence, like I mentioned earlier. When systems rely on one person's intuition, growth increases fragility rather than strength. And so making sure the founders understand how to transition away from we have something here to here's how we could put together processes and systems and tools, including AI tools, to help us make better decisions while not depending on one single person or a team of 3, 4, 5 founders is very important for the health of the company long term. Many
Yeah.
organizations, uh, they also underestimate how risk accumulates between departments rather than inside them. And so Mahwikizi and Company approaches this differently by examining how these systems interact, not just how functions perform individually.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. I think that's like very valuable. I've heard it plenty of times on this podcast alone is leaders come and one of the things that they want to try to do is step out of being like, the driving force of their company. And so having the systems in place so that their company can still run even if they, end up being sick or out for a week or that kind of stuff. That's really interesting. That's really cool. And so, diving a little bit more within the trends, are there any, new trends in regards of technology that your company is using right now in the business?
Yeah, listen, we're big proponents of artificial intelligence, AI tools, and the likes. And so technology, particularly AI, is becoming, at least in our company, in our industry, it's becoming a leverage tool rather than a replacement for judgment. And so at Mahwikizi and Company, we use AI systems to accelerate analysis, to increase pattern recognition and scenario modeling. AI allows us or our associates to review operational data, governance documents, decision histories much faster than traditional advisory models. And so for clients, what I say to your clients or our future clients per se is AI helps simulate outcomes, identify hidden dependencies, and stress test the assumptions that teams may have to come to a better decisions faster.
Yeah.
But the key distinction is that AI provides insight, not decisions. And so the human judgment remains central. And the real opportunity is combining structured human reasoning with machine scale analysis. That combination allows smaller advisory firms like ours to operate with institutional depth without institutional bureaucracy.
Yeah, no, that is like gold right there. That is exactly how AI should be used, right? I feel like so many companies, aren't exactly sure on like how they know they need AI, they know it's the thing right now, but not exactly sure how to put it in. And so just like implementing a tool and letting it run by itself is not necessarily the right way to go about it, right? But still having that human touch is so important because that's what people want. And so that's awesome to hear that you guys are leveraging it in such a great way. On the business side of things, what is working really well within your company right now?
Oh, great question. What's working well right now at Mahwikizi and Company is alignment with leaders who value quiet credibility over publicity. And so we are seeing interest from executives and boards who want thoughtful evaluation rather than rapid transformation. Uh, that alignment creates better engagements because expectations are grounded in stewardship rather than hype. And so that's what we focus on the most, not try to promise the world great transformations, but being measured and consistent in how we deploy solutions to make sure that survivability is the goal for the company and the boards long term, not short term.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and that is so important. That's awesome to hear. On the flip side to that, every company has challenges, goes through difficult things. I'm wondering if maybe you can share a past challenge that you've had within your business that you were able to overcome, and what did you learn from that experience?
Sure. Thanks for that question. One early challenge was resisting growth opportunities that did not match our philosophy. There's pressure in any young firm or any growing firm to expand quickly. But we learned that credibility compounds slowly. And so saying no preserved clarity for us about what we actually do. And that discipline shaped the firm more than any successful engagement. And so being able to recognize where maybe greed is creeping in and slowing yourself down to say, okay, what are we really building? Let's make sure we don't just chase a check or visibility. Let's make sure what we're working on long term places us in a position for winning.
Yeah, that's awesome. It sounds like and obviously to think this way, it sounds like just, you guys are perfectly practicing what you preach, which is so cool. It sounds like it is like the way to really build a business that lasts with that awesome foundation, just to keep, you know, navigating through the challenges as they come. And so, yeah, so cool. I'm wondering, are there any current challenges or problems you guys are facing? Any bottlenecks, anything like that within the business right now?
I'd say the current, piggyback on the last answer, that the current challenge for us is building something institutional without rushing legitimacy. And so we are intentionally developing standards carefully, particularly through the American Enterprise Standard, it's a program we're administering here at Mahwikizi and Company. And so we don't want to scale awareness prematurely. And we're building a corporate challenge that help our clients or potential clients long term self-analyze their operations to see preliminarily where they compare against their peers in a benchmark. And so, but our bottleneck right now is patience. Institutional trust forms through consistency, not marketing velocity. And so, taking our time and making sure we're patient and measured in how we approach things is a challenge for us. But we're always trying to be measured and self-reflective to make sure we're doing it correctly.
Yeah, no, it's so important. That really is. As you look ahead into the future, the next 6 months to a year, what is a goal that you're focusing on achieving within the business?
Sure. Over the next year, our primary focus is assembling the inaugural American Enterprise Standard recognition cycle and a judge fellow panel that is valuable to what we're building here for the American Enterprise Standard, leading into November 2026. And so that's what we're focusing on right now. And the goal is not volume, but the goal is credibility. And so that's what we're building this year, slowly, methodically, and to build a program that may become its own standalone platform in the future.
Yeah, that's cool. And to dive a little bit more into that, the to reach that next level of credibility and within that goal, are there specific investments, like staff or tools or strategies that you're putting in place to achieve that?
Well, our philosophy at Mahwikizi and Company is that growth comes through leverage rather than just headcount. And so we're investing in structured methodologies. We're investing in AI-assisted analysis tools and standardized evaluation frameworks for our clients that allow a small team to operate with the analytical capacity of much larger firms. This allows associates at Mahwikizi and Company to focus on judgment um, and interpretation rather than manual analysis. We want to get away from that and focus on delivering value to our clients without too much manual analysis.
Yeah, and that is so important. That really is cool to hear. Just kind of how you guys are navigating that. That's really interesting. In regards to that, have you, as you guys are planning and getting, as you guys are achieving that goal, striving to achieve it, are you seeing any challenges with, reaching that next level, reaching, it's not growth, but reaching that next level towards that goal?
Sure. Well, the main challenge for Mahwikizi and Company is maintaining independence while growing visibility. Institutional trust, again, depends on neutrality. So expansion must happen without compromising discretion or selectivity. And so making sure we're very selective who our clients are. We're very selective on who we recognize as setting a standard in the 8 categories that we focus on at Mahwikizi and Company is the biggest challenge for us to maintain independence and be seen as neutral.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's really cool to hear just how the plan in place and where you guys are going and what the future holds for you guys. Um, you know, a lot of the insight you brought today has been really interesting. I think a lot of um just the foundation of what your company is so cool. And I think people would be interested to like hear more and follow and understand. And so before we go, could you please share with some of the listeners where they can find Mahwikizi and Company and learn more about just your practices and stay involved with what you're doing?
Sure. Listen, listeners can learn more about Mahwikizi and Company and the American Enterprise Standard at mahwikizi.com. That's mahwikizi.com. But organizations or professionals interested can simply review the information there and decide whether the philosophy resonates with how they think about stewardship and leadership.
Yeah, awesome. Well, to close, I'd like to ask one last question, right? Since this is the Business Leaders Legacy podcast, and you being the founder of Mahwikizi and Company, what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind?
Through many conversations, I've had that question before, and so I've had a long time to reflect on it. And so the answers have improved over time. But listen, um, what I'd hope to continue is, or at the very least, what I hope to contribute is to rebuilding respect for disciplined institutions, not organizations that grow quickly, but organizations that endure responsibly. If our work helps leaders make calmer, more thoughtful decisions that outlast their tenure, that would be a meaningful legacy for us.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool. It's cool to see that's just based on our conversation how that's all coming to be. And so awesome. Well, thank you again, Justin. I really appreciated the conversation. To all of our listeners out there, thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed our conversation, please subscribe, and we will see you next time. Thank you.
Chris, it was an honor. Thank you so much.